Hello, welcome to Talk of the Town. I am your host, Abby on the Avenue, Marketing Director for Appleton Downtown Incorporated. Talk of the Town is a podcast where we shine a spotlight on the people, places, and passion in our community. Each episode, we engage in meaningful conversations with community ambassadors and local business owners as they share their stories about what makes our district thrive. Whether you're a history buff, foodie, music lover, or something in between, there's something for everyone here. Join us as we uncover the stories of what makes downtown Appleton one great place. If you're a book lover, then this episode is for you. Today, we have Kalan Bavnick, owner of the bookstore, with us to tell us about her location and how they can help you find your new favorite book. Good welcome, Kalan.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Before we dive in, I just wanted to have you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your background, and then how you started the bookstore.
Okay, so I am from a little bit of all over. My family's originally from the Fox Valley. We moved around a couple times when I was a kid. So I lived on the East Coast. I lived in Texas. Ended up coming back to the area after college. And now I live in Appleton. So So before I owned the bookstore, I was a veterinary technician for a very long time, but my body gave out and said, no, you can't do that anymore. So I was like, what can I do? So I went back to what I did at my first job in high school, was at a used bookstore. And I was like, maybe I should do that. And I had been filling in one up in Green Bay on the side, just like a little fun job. And she said, well, why don't you talk to the gal in Appleton to see, if she's interested in selling her store? So I asked, and Laura said, heck yeah. And
wow,
here we are.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's one of those stories where everything just perfectly falls into place.
Yeah, it was
so cool.
The reason I had to give up what I was doing wasn't so cool, but it was very cool that it all lined up and okay, yes, I guess I am meant to do this.
Yes, afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you just kind of took that passion. Have you always been super into reading?
Funny story. I was a horrible reader as a child.
Wow.
But when I was in college, I did not want to read my textbooks, so I just read novels instead because I needed to escape. And I had been working at a used bookstore, so it was more the environment that I was in that first job is what made me a reader. Like my mom was always a great reader. I just, I struggled with it as a young child, but I had really good reading coaches, and look at me, now I own a bookstore.
And now you own a bookstore.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And I feel like as I've been doing this podcast, I'm hearing similar stories. We had Bill on, who's the owner of Akoka Cafe and Roastery, and he talked about how he didn't even drink coffee growing up. So now he owns a coffee shop. So another cool story about I didn't necessarily read a lot growing up, or I struggled a little bit with it, and now I own a bookstore. Yeah. So those passions that, maybe you didn't have earlier in life, now you do.
Exactly.
Which is really cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now you've turned it into something great that everybody can enjoy, which is awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper into, the bookstore itself, the history of the business. And I know that you relocated to downtown Appleton a few years ago, which I couldn't believe that was October 2022. Is that right?
Yeah. My life, the last 4 years have been a blur.
It's such a blur.
The last 5 years, honestly. Yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
I was like, that could have only been like a year or two.
It's weird. I feel like I've been there forever, but I also feel like I just moved.
Right.
I'm in that weird in between.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So with the relocation, what made you choose downtown Appleton? Because you came over from Northland Avenue. So it was still in Appleton, the bookstore. So
Correct.
Moving to downtown, what made you make that decision? And, how has that improved your business?
It improved my business a lot.
Yeah.
So on Northland, people are flying by at 45 miles an hour because nobody goes the speed limit. Mm-hmm. And we just blended in. And unless you were going to Nutrition Discount Center or Cyrom, most people didn't notice us. Mm-hmm. And I knew when I bought the business that a bookstore is not something you make a lot of money doing, but I knew if I invested my rent into a mortgage instead, then I would get something in return further down the line. So I knew once, I got settled in there, and once my lease was up, I wanted to pursue actually owning a building. And one of our great customers, Jamie, she worked in commercial real estate and kind of was helping me look around. And she spotted this building. And at first, I was like, I don't know, because I have a larger elderly crowd. So I was a little apprehensive of it at first, but like once we went over and looked at it, I'm like, well, this is practically perfect, because it used to be a MMA gym, so it was just wide open. Like I didn't have to tear down any walls. I didn't need to do any construction. I just needed to
blank space, lots of possibilities.
Exactly. So it just kind of all landed just right.
Which is awesome. Yeah. And the amount of work that you have put into that space,
oh my goodness,
is tremendous. I mean, like you said,
it's never ending, but yes.
Yes. And continue to put in. Yeah, that's right. And just the unique touch that you've put on it, and how cozy and homey that it feels. Like you said, I know you don't have any walls that you had to tear down, but you still have put so much into it.
Yeah. So I'm definitely a big art nerd. So it just is a nice outlet for me to be like, okay, I can do all the art here, because I am a business owner, so I don't get to go home often.
Right. You live and breathe it for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about the vision that you had as you were, you got the building, you got the space, what did you foresee when you were putting into it, and just how it came to be what it is today and what it's evolving to?
Yeah. So I'm really good at Tetris. So we just played a lot of Tetris with just, instead of blocks, bookcases. I knew I still wanted to have there's definitely just like 4 aisles, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Because we have all these nooks and crannies.
Yes.
So I kind of relooked at this, what I had at the old store, and the spaces I needed to expand and the spaces I needed to maybe change. Like at the old store, there was some inconsistencies with where books were in certain sections. So the move was a good opportunity for me to fix those problems.
Yeah.
And when you own a property, whether it's your home or a business property, there is always something breaking that you need to fix. So some of the things were we find out we can't put things against this wall. It doesn't go well. So, then we just play more Tetris.
Right.
So it's a never ending game of very colorful Tetris.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't know how many books you had at the old location versus now, but just moving all those around.
Yeah. So it was a 3-month process.
Yeah.
We started moving, we got the building, we got the carpet and the few renovations that we had to do before we moved in, because we don't want stinky gym carpet in a bookstore. No. That's got to go.
Moving from the, yep.
Yeah. So we stayed open the whole time. Once half of the stuff was out of the old building, then we opened up at the new building. So the staff helped me get all the boxes ready, but my family, I mean, we just did millions of trips back and forth. Thank goodness for parents with trucks.
Oh yeah. Always know somebody with a truck.
Absolutely.
You never know when you might need it.
Oh, yeah. Dad's around a lot.
Yes. Yes. But that's really cool that you were able to, with the support of your staff and your family, there was no lapse in between. I didn't know that you went right from here to here. I mean, there's often even some kind of transition period where you're closed to open. But
I honestly couldn't afford it because you don't make a ton of money selling used books. So the prospect of being like, oh, we're going to close for a month to get this done. I was like, nope, can't do that.
Let's work this out.
I don't have a budget for that. So,
right.
Yeah. So
got to get crafty.
Yeah. It worked out great. At the old location, I had 3 employees. Now I have 8.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe more than double, which is amazing.
Yeah. Our space almost was close to double. Our inventory is probably, I want to say, a third bigger than it used to be.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah. And some of it was in the old space. We had a back room and we stored all the spare books in the back room. Well, that kind of stinks when you have to constantly shelve and move stuff. So, all the problems we had with the old space, we kind of fixed as we went to the new space.
Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of, talking about your stock and your inventory, let's dive in a little bit about the specific things that, you offer. I saw on your website that I believe it said 98% of it is used books, but you do have some, brand new books. So talk a little bit more about the types of books that people can find at your store.
Pretty much all types of books. We don't do like encyclopedias and dictionaries and things like that, but everybody has one in their pocket now. So there you go.
Absolutely.
So we have more fiction than nonfiction, but we still have a substantial amount of nonfiction. And it's really just a big mix of all the genres. So as far as new books, I try to pick things to have in stock that are things that people are asking for a lot, or bestsellers that don't quite come in as often. But we have some authors that like Stephen King and C.J. Box and William Kent Kruger, we have their older books on hand new, because the minute they come in used, they're out of the building. So if somebody wants to fill in a part of their collection, they don't have to sit and wait for a used one to show up.
Yeah. And I suppose we should clarify, when we say new books, we're referring to like a brand new,
right,
never been non-used, right, I should say, book. But you also have popular titles, newer titles, as well.
We have both of those things.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. So just to clarify for those, even though it is a lot of used books, people can still get a lot of the books that their friends are reading, that they're seeing online. I mean,
oh yeah,
the demand and how book talk has become such a popular thing.
Right. And I am the worst person. I am not good at social media, but
you're not the only one.
Right. I'm really good at listening to what my customers are asking for. So when Colleen Hoover started to become a few things, I was like, okay, everybody's asking. Okay, we're just going to keep her in stock.
Yes.
So it's really listening to your customers and their needs. And we can always order in books new. Our new books we do at 15% off. Usually it gets there within a week because the order's getting consolidated.
Well, that's good to know for people that, you can always check out to see, if there's a book that you're looking for, but you don't see it, you can always ask, the staff if there's a way that you guys can order it in, because you have on your website a tool that people can use to see what books you have in stock, right?
Yes, we do. I will flat out say our website is not as good as it should be. And the problem with that is we have too many books for the website to work well with the software to support. You can look those things up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's not as good as it could be.
Sure.
But it does the job.
Yes, absolutely. And, people could always call or stop in.
Yeah. We have people you can call, you can text, you can email. We can ask, you can ask us and we can look those things up. You can also look on our website, but it's honestly easier to ask me or one of the staff members.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So as we're kind of talking about some of the programs that you offer, I know that there's kind of a trading system that people can do with books, bringing theirs in. How does that work?
Yeah. So we don't pay cash for books, but we do give really good trade credit for your books. So on paperbacks, we give 25% of the cover price in trade credit. Hardbacks, you get anywhere from $3 to $6. We try to make them a little but more budget friendly because, hardbacks are now like $30 new. They are. $15, that's kind of a lot for a used book. So we try to make it a little more economical. You end up getting half of what we plan on selling it for. And that trade credit can be used to cover half of your purchase on any of the used books in the store. Doesn't work on the new books, but you have over 90-some thousand used books to choose from.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're at 94,000 right now in the building. So yeah, we got a couple, 2-3.
Just a few to pick from.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah.
For someone who's indecisive like myself, that could be a nightmare. But I'm glad that the staff are there to help
exactly.
with you.
Just ask one of us. And we're like, okay, I like this, this, and this. And I'll be like, okay, you want to try this one, this one, this one, this one.
Yes. And that's always something super helpful, especially for me is, I like a certain genre or maybe there was an author that I liked and I'm looking for something similar. So to have that guidance is always super helpful.
Yeah.
And for someone that's, super into reading, that's seeing what people are asking for and just, diving into that.
You don't have to suffer from the analysis paralysis. We can be like, okay, here are some good options for you.
Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. So as we're, looking at some of the other things that, you could do at the store, I saw that there's some renting options as well.
Yeah. So when I bought the store, this is something they had already in place. And I'm like, what the heck is this? But it works great. So we pick super popular new bestsellers that we have on the rental racks. And you can rent it for 1 week for $5 or 2 weeks for $7. And basically, these are the books that have like a really long line at the library. Like, I don't want to sink $30 into a new hardback, but I also don't want to be number 300 in line at the library.
Yes. And that's the perfect in between for that. Because I feel like I deal with that as well. Because I'm someone that doesn't usually like to buy books. Because I read them and then they just sit on the shelf. And I'm not normally someone who buys them and rereads them. It's just not me. Some people do, especially their favorites. So this is that perfect in between.
Exactly.
Like you said, you don't have to wait too long at the library. The library's great opportunities there. But if you're looking for something quick, you got a trip coming up, you need something to bring, you can get it right away at the bookstore, which is awesome.
Yep.
So we really like that. And something else that you do at the store is some fun events as well. Book signings, book clubs.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those.
So we have almost every weekend we'll have an author in doing a book signing. It's pretty close to every weekend. In the winter we might have a lag here and there. We have that. We have a staff favorite book club, which people come in and we talk about, one of the staff members talks about their favorite book and kind of discuss that. And then we also have the local author book club where the local author comes and talks with us at the book club. Yeah. And we just had in May our very first block of books event. And that was, we had 50 local authors there on the block, hanging out outside, selling their books, signing books, talking with everybody.
That's so cool.
We had, honestly, I thought it was just going to be like 10, 15, but we had so many people that were interested, and my neighbors kept saying, yeah, you can be in front of us. Yeah, we can be in front of us, until it was like, okay, we're the whole block.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many talented people right here in our community that are writing books, where a lot of them from, when you say local, was that more like the Valley, or how local were they?
So it was basically eastern Wisconsin.
Okay.
So we had people, some people not quite to the Michigan border, but close. Furthest south, I think we had somebody from West Bend, and then the furthest west was like the Wapaka area.
So that's pretty, that's pretty hyper local.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to have 50 authors right in our backyard, right in our community.
And we ran out of space. And so we actually next year are aiming to have closer to 75, because I kept having to turn people away. I was like, we don't have any space. So when people are like life events happen, you're like, oh crap, I have to go to a funeral, I can't come.
Right.
I had a line of people that can be like, okay, do you want in?
A wait
do you want
list.
in? Do you want? Yeah, I had
which
a
is
wait list.
Awesome.
And
this was your
crazy.
first time?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, we're gonna try to make that an annual event. It went really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah. So talk about the, the importance of supporting those local authors. That's something that can be a very unique thing, and not necessarily something you see at the, the big bookstores like a Barnes and Noble or something. Like, talk about why that's important to you and your business.
So every author is local to somewhere.
Yes.
So if your community isn't helping to support you to get your voice recognized, maybe your community sucks. I don't know. I think if we don't have people writing books, there's not books for us to read. So we need to support them. We need to support our book reading habits.
Absolutely.
By supporting the people, like, I don't want to say you're like a drug dealer, but by supporting the people that provide the thing you want.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really important to support those authors, as, some of them are, they're going to go places. Some of them, it's just, they're going to write a couple books. But you never know who that person is going to be, and how they're going to propel themselves.
Yeah.
into, national rankings for,
right.
books.
Yeah. For sure. And I'm sure that they, like you said, they appreciate that the support that the community is giving them, because it's a big leap to take to write a book, to get it published.
It's not easy.
Yeah. So, kudos to them for doing that. But then after that, the process of getting your word out there is.
Yeah. And it's hard. Like everything I do is on a shoestring budget. And a lot of times for authors, they have to do all these kinds of events to get their name out there, to get recognized. And then, you can't just like write a book and just sit there and hope somebody picks it up. You need to be like, hey, read this. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, kind of tying into that a little bit, and we talked about this earlier, how, I keep referencing Book Talk and how popular that has gotten, and people talking about the books that they're reading. And there's like this whole culture around it that I feel like hasn't, and maybe I just didn't know about it, but that has really been on the rise in the last couple of years. How has that changed and improved, for you guys and bookstores in terms of getting more people interested into reading that maybe weren't for a while?
Yeah. So there's plenty of people that aren't interested in reading or aren't great readers, but when you find the book that's the thing that is the perfect one for them, they'll devour it. We used to make fun of my dad and say he was illiterate, but when he retired, I threw some William Kent Kruger at him. He'll slam dunk one of those in like a day or two.
Wow. So
you just have to find what is going to work for that person, and just kind of listening to their needs and their interests to go, okay, this will be a good fit for you. Like, this isn't an algorithm doing it. This is me talking to people, and like book people, everybody thinks we're big introverts, which is true. But I don't know how many times I'll be in the store and I will hear customers telling other customers about books. Like,
it's something to bond over.
Exactly.
It's a passion.
Exactly. It's a really solitary activity, but there's like so much joy that people want to spread and be like, hey, oh my gosh, you need to read this one because this one was awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And, on the flip side of that, talking about the social media and everything, it's something that I know I've been trying to do is spending less time on my phone and more time reading. Because I feel like I'm behind a screen all day at work. Then I come home and I go behind a screen on my phone. I try to just set it down, take some time to either be outside, but we live in Wisconsin, so let's be real, that's not always a thing, and pick up a book.
Yeah. Your brain needs that break from all the screens.
Yes.
I don't know many people who don't have a screen in front of their face.
It's so hard. It's so naturally a habit to do so.
Yeah.
But it's something that I've been trying to do a lot more, is to do something else.
Even if you're reading something super action packed, you don't have like when you're on your phone reading stuff, it's not having the same impact as if you're slowing down and reading and following a whole story instead of just little snippets. Tiny snippet.
Yes. And sometimes after you're on your phone, like I feel exhausted. I'm like, ugh.
Right.
I just spent all that time scrolling, all that. But like with a book,
where did
I'm just
3 hours go?
Yes. With a book, I'm so engaged and I want more. And I just want, I put it down and I'm like exhilarated sometimes, or whatever the book may make you feel. But that just those, that feeling of just taking a step away from that and the different things that you could feel reading a book as well. So that's something
that's why, important. Ever since the printing press was invented, there was always people like, oh, books are going to go away because of the newspaper. Oh, books are going to go away because of television. Oh, books are going to go away because of radio. Oh, books are going to go away because of like e-readers. There was so the bookstore has survived e-readers. The bookstore has survived Amazon. These were all things that came out because the bookstore has been around since 1977. These are things that have happened during that time. People want that physical object. They want to feel the paper. They want to smell the paper. They want you can see your progress every time you turn a page. When you're looking at a screen, you don't have that.
No.
And you don't, it just engages totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I actually got a Kindle myself as a present. And then as I was excited, but as I was doing it, I knew that I'm like, oh, I like the physical book better.
We have a lot of customers that, they're like, oh yeah, my spouse or my kids got me an e-reader, and they're like, no, not the same.
Because you think it's that perfect book for a reader. And for some people it is. Some people really like that.
Like if you're on vacation and you don't want to bring travel. 3 books anywhere, like absolutely. I wouldn't do that, but I bring those 3 books.
She makes room in the suitcase.
Absolutely. We make sure I bring 3, my spouse brings 3, And they're ones that, like, if we run out, like, we can read.
Oh,
each
you can
other's.
swap.
Yeah.
Oh, see, my husband and I couldn't do that. The stuff he reads, I'm like, I don't know what's going on over there.
We have very different tastes, but they collide on some things.
Sure.
So, yeah, you just got to find, like, the common ground where you get what's,
yes,
you both are going to have interest in.
Yes. And there's, great ways to find that, too, in ways that maybe you didn't even think of. So that's good. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then something else that I wanted to talk a little bit about as well is you have really affordable, your store is very affordable already, but you have even ultra affordable options of, some of your, your clearance cart items, the mystery book bundles.
Yeah. So we have in our clearance section, they're ones that we have too many of, or they're just a little beat up. They still got a reading tour left in them, but they ain't so pretty anymore. Mm-hmm. And so those we have 5 for $1 in the clearance section. Mm-hmm. We also have like a big grocery bag full of books for $5. We have a romance one called The Blind Date. We have a mystery one called The Mystery Bag. Every once in a while, we'll have a horror one that's a horribly great deal bag. So they're all ridiculous puns. And it's one way to keep, like, we prefer not to have to put something in the recycle bin. Sometimes you have to. It's just time. You got to put the book out of its misery. Its back is broken. It's falling apart. It's time. But, if they still got a couple more reads in them and you go, okay, I like mysteries, I'm going to grab the mystery bag. There's like 30 books plus in there.
Wow.
And you might find a new author you wouldn't have grabbed before. Like, so it's just a fun way to find a new author. And, if you didn't like, half of what's in there, but you got 15 books that you liked for $5.
It's $5.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong with that?
Exactly.
And give them away. Give them to your
little free libraries, things like that.
I love those.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to fill many times on the way home. I am tossing extra things in little free libraries because we get an overflow.
That is awesome.
So, yeah.
I've always wanted one. I always told my husband that I wanted to have one, but then our neighbor across the street already has one. So I'm like, is it worth me also having a little library? But I think they're the cutest things.
Yeah.
Just
got a couple in my neighborhood. And it's the same thing. I'm like, well, that one's pretty close. So we'll let them deal.
But that's so nice that you literally go around and see those and fill them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for when people trade in books, if there's stuff we need, we give them the trade credit for them. If it's something we don't need, there's a couple different things we do. If it is still in readable good shape, I will donate to the AAUW for the big book sale they have every year where they raise like thousands of dollars in scholarships. Little free libraries. The really beat up, falling apart ones, those are the ones that go in the clearance bags. And then, because they only have so much life left in them.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, we try to avoid as much as we can having to recycle books. I mean, sometimes we just have to. Nobody's going to want the health manual from 1983. No,
right.
No.
But that's good. You made a good point about even if they aren't books that you necessarily need in the store, if someone is just looking to get rid of them, you'll find a home for them somewhere.
Absolutely. We're kind of a book orphanage.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a really good way to put that.
Yeah. But we don't want you to spay or neuter your books. We want more of them.
We want them all.
Yep.
We want them all. Absolutely. So as we're wrapping up the episode here, what is one thing that you want someone to remember about the bookstore after they listen to this episode?
I want them to remember to come on in and experience it. It is so cool to watch somebody come in for the first time because the door opens and you just like, people are just staring and looking at, just have this look of awe on their face. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a new one. So come on, be one of those new ones.
Yes. Come in and experience the beauty that is the store and all the time that you've put into it and just finding your next book. Can find your next favorite book, your next favorite author. You never know.
Exactly. So have a good conversation with us or one of my staff members about books and favorite books.
Yes. Yeah. Experiences are endless.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. One final question here. In your opinion, as you've been downtown for a few years now, what do you think makes downtown Appleton one great place?
I feel like I had good neighbors at our old location. They were great. It is much more of a friendly neighborhood experience down here. It isn't just a strip mall. It isn't just a restaurant. There's, I talk to my neighbors frequently. It feels way different than a mall. It's just a richer experience, I feel like.
Yeah, that sense of community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I love to hear, the collaboration that I hear from a lot of different business owners, whether it's someone that does the same thing as you or doesn't do the same thing as you, that's, right next to you, right, down a block, across the street, whatever it may be. I just love to hear about, the connections, the friendships, the community that is made between all of you, bonding over the similar idea of, you're a small business owner with a passion and just looking to share that with others.
Yeah.
So it's really great to hear. Well, thank you so much, Kalan, for coming on the show and telling us about all the great things that the bookstore has to offer. Whether you're a book lover or someone who's trying to get back into reading, there is something there for everyone. So definitely go and check them out. They are located on the west end of downtown Appleton at 801 West College Avenue on the corner of Locust Street. You can visit their website to find a full list of books and programs at thebookstoreappleton.com. Feel free to call them, visit them as well for book recommendations. Also, make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you all for tuning in to Talk of the Town. We'll be back with more stories, more voices, and more reasons to love downtown Appleton. Until next time, keep your ears open. You might just be hearing the next Talk of the Town. This episode is brought to you by J. Geiger Consulting, a consulting firm specializing in J.D. Edwards Solutions and proud sponsor of Appleton Downtown Incorporated. Special thanks to local songwriter Amelia Ford for creating original music just for this podcast.